We're live, everybody, with the NoDQ review, episode number 110, here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, of course, where you're watching this, or maybe you're watching it on NoDQ. Let me throw it over to the moderator for the NoDQ review, Virtue.
What's up, everybody? NoDQ Galaxy. I am Virtue, and this is the NoDQ review number 110. It just seems like we did episode 100 not too long ago, but here I am once again with the elite panel of NoDQ, and this time it consists of myself, Aaron Rift, Jeff Meacham, and Big G. We got a lot of topics to cover today, and I want to get this thing done before 8 o'clock because I'm ready for some football. I don't think Aaron is.
Yeah!
So, Big G, are you ready for some football? The season finally begins tonight.
Darn Skippy, I am looking towards some football. My Steelers are playing this coming Monday, unfortunately, but I am ready for the defending Super Bowl champs versus the Texans. Other than that, I'm doing great. Ready to talk some AEW, some WWE. Other than that, let's get this thing rolling.
All right, thank you, Big G. West Coast Professor Jeff, what up?
It's been a busy day here at the Retribution Network. I have taped 3 episodes of Dads coming up in the next 6 weeks, and then I got another show after this. So I'm a busy boy today. Let's just get this shit down the road.
Let's do it. All right, thanks, Jeff. And Aaron Rift, how's it going, man?
Going good. Y2 Woody says, how come TJS never appears on here anymore? He prefers to do the predictions. He asked for a spot on the predictions videos, but he might show up on the NoDQ review every now and then. He's not banned from being on. It's just we like to rotate people in and out. And we got a pretty good lineup here with the 2 Jeffs. And Dwayne Atkinson with the $2 super chat. First one of the evening. We very much appreciate it. He says, first of all, JM, let me ask you, what day is today?
Like every day now that he's back on TV, it is Miro Day, kids.
Indeed. And Dwayne says, happy Miro Day, my friends. Yes, it is a glorious Miro Day here on NoDQ.com. Glorious Miro Day in September. Glorious day for AEW. They just got 1 million viewers for Dynamite. I'm sure we'll be talking about that later. But let's throw it over to Virtue and get started with our first topic. And remember, guys, send your thoughts in the chat room. I will put up some of your thoughts on the big screen here, and your thoughts can be featured on the NoDQ review. Virtue, let's go ahead and get started.
Interestingly enough, Miro will be our main discussion at the end. So stay tuned. You're going to have to watch this whole video to get our takes on Miro Day. But let's first talk about the fallout from AEW All Out this past Saturday. Some interesting notes here. Lance Archer won the Battle Royal. It's Lance Archer, isn't it? I just always think Archer.
Lance.
He won the Battle Royal. FTR, the new tag team champions, we kind of expected that. Orange Cassidy beats Jericho. Now, granted, it was a gimmick match, but he basically won the feud. He did win the feud against Jericho. Moxley retains, so MJF maybe just quite ain't ready yet, but obviously with Archer winning the Battle Royal is kind of foreseen by the time the main event happened. And then Matt Hardy, did he really hit the back of his head? What went on with this possible concussion stuff? He seemed fine last night, but a lot happened at All Out, so I want everybody's take here. Big G, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so I enjoyed the show. I don't think it was their best show to date, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that. This was the second time that I've seen Thunder Rosa wrestle, and I think she did a pretty good job against Cheetah. MJF retained, like you said. I thought that was a good match. I like how they brought in the blood, made it a little bit more...
Wait, did you say MJF retained? You mean Moxley?
I meant Moxley retained, sorry.
We all wish MJF won, let's be real, but
Just checking.
That was a very good match. We all knew that there was going to be some kind of shenanigans, and Moxley would hit the paradigm shift to retain. Lance Archer winning the Battle Royal, no surprise there. I mean, who else would you have picked? The whole Matt Hardy thing, I don't know, that kind of turned me off a little bit, because I was like, when I saw the bump, I was like, holy crap. I was like, is he okay? And then you saw him staggering and stuff like that. And then they decided to continue the damn match after a concussion protocol. If it was me, I would have stopped the match altogether, made it a no contest. And, once Matt Hardy got better, then can end the feud in another broken rules match or whatever. What else?
Hey, Big G, look at football. Like, they would have never let a player go back out there afterwards because it's football starting tonight, so I had to make the reference.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, any sport, if you get a concussion, they are not going to let you continue, especially in football, because that leads to either pretty much you could end up committing suicide or something like that later down the road. Anyways, FTR won the tag team titles. I'm happy they won. Hangman and Kenny had a long reign, and we all knew that FTR would eventually win the tag team titles. All in all, I thought it was a decent show. Like I said before, it wasn't their best show to date, but I still enjoyed it.
Okay, well, thank you for your input there. Jeff Meacham, what did you think about All Out?
Well, everybody in the chat room is waiting for me to say what I'm going to say, but I will simply say that I said my piece on the Matt Hardy thing on Monday. And I will leave it at that because it's on this channel, it's on Greg's channel, it's on my channel. I was ridiculously pissed off at the decision to continue the Matt Hardy match. So, and I have my reasons, and they're all out there in the open. So, the rest of the show was great. People all of the Matt Hardy thing deflated the show. I think if you let that deflate you from watching what really was a great women's championship match between Sheeta and Thunder Rosa, not my first time seeing Thunder Rosa. I love the NWA. I am an NWA mark, and I love those guys. And Thunder Rosa stepped up, and her and Sheeta, did a great job. Having to follow something so polarizing was difficult, I'm sure, but they did great. Mox and MJF did what they said they were going to do, and I love the creativity of the finish because, like G said, you knew he was going to find a way to hit the paradigm shift, and it's funny. Max and Renee had this exchange on Twitter, and Max, criticized Renee for your husband cheated, and I tweeted back. I said, you should have watched the pre-hype video, Max. John flat out told you he's the bad guy, not you. And bad guys cheat to win. So
and
he cheated.
Kind of protected MJF. Well, wasn't it technically banned, right, for the match?
Exactly.
Well, it kind of protected MJF because the way Moxley did it, and MJF could say you cheated behind the ref's back.
Yeah, exactly. And it was almost like what do you call it? Spoiled. Like Mox told him, I'm the bad guy here, not you. So he made sure he found a way to win. I'm not surprised Lance won the Battle Royal. Again, who else are you gonna do besides maybe Brian Cage? But I think they've unfortunately backed Brian into a corner with having the FTW title and being basically Taz's heavy. I think that's a little bit much for Brian. I think Brian deserves a little bit better than that, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to him and Mox. Somebody in the chat room mentioned something about does Lance not have credibility because of losing to Cody? I disagree with that. I think that Lance has been kicking ass and taking names with or without the loss to Cody, and him and Mox stuff in Japan was ridiculously good, and it can only get hopefully better with AEW.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, speaking of like watching a pay-per-view and can't believe it happened afterwards, and something bad happened over the edge with Owen Hart. I mean,
yeah,
there will never be anything that touches that. Like,
no,
obviously, we were concerned for Matt, but
right. And again, I went off into a little bit of a tizzy on Monday. I'll not lie about that. But the bottom line is, I don't care if it's a storyline concussion or if he really got hurt. The decision to go forward with whatever they went forward with was 100% wrong.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. Aaron Rift, I'll pass it over to you now. I know this is rehash for you, but you'll want to add.
Well, we do have a bunch of super chats, which I can get to. Jeff, so this is Talk Wrestling. For anybody that did not hear your thoughts, they can go on my channel or your channel, watch Talk Wrestling, and you go into a full
Monday afternoon, 7 Eastern.
All right. Now, let's get to some of these super chats. First one from Y2 Woody with a €5 super chat says, World Suicide Awareness today. Lost my best friend at 27 and a friend at 17 to it, and struggle myself every day. Let's all keep mental health integral. I agree with that 100%. Thank you for the super chat. Big G, you're just doing a toast? It was hard to tell because the green screen effect cut you off a little bit there.
I got
boring old H2O here, but I toast to that. All right, now let's get back to AEW. Our boy, Rob Klein, a.k.a. Robbie Vice, sent in $5. He says, All Out was worth $7 at best. Congrats to Virtue on being the best writer
you know
on
what?
NoDQ.com.
It's hard to. Yeah, I mean, WWE gives you pay-per-views for $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify anything more than that for any company. I'm sorry, Robbie, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I paid a grand total of $24 for the next 4 weeks of NWA. So there's that. So.
All right. Well, I would not say that it was worth the $50 compared to the other AEW shows, but I felt like for the most part, I got my money's worth. I still think it was a good show overall. I did give it a B. It wasn't A quality like the other AEW shows. It was still good, though. DJW with a $2 super chat says 3 tag team matches and a pay-per-view is one too many at All Out. Well, keep in mind that AEW is all about the tag division. They boast having the best tag division on the planet. Virtue?
Better than WWE's tag team division.
Now they're putting Jericho and Hager together as a tag team. It's like, holy moly.
Yeah. Lots of tag teams, that's for sure.
Aaron, the fact of the matter is the tag team scene in the WWE, they're having the Raw champions face SmackDown champions on free TV. That's ridiculous. So,
well, as Rob points out, compared to a $9.99 WrestleMania, that's the thing. AEW has to always give a top-notch pay-per-view if they're going to be charging $50. If they keep this pattern of not having A-quality pay-per-views, that could hurt them in the long run. Because right now they have a reputation of putting on great shows, and this one wasn't quite as good as the other ones. DJW with another $2 super chat says, I disagree with putting a cinematic match first. Yes, that's actually something I did not mention when I did my review of AEW's All Out pay-per-view. Why would they start with a cinematic match? That feels like it should have been a buffer between two of the big matches towards the end. Like, you should open the show with a hot match in the ring, in my opinion. I do think that was a mistake. Big G, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I don't really consider that a cinematic match. I thought I was watching a commercial in a dentist office.
Well, there you have it. Yeah, it wasn't really a cinematic match. It was more like just an on-location fight, I guess you could call it, or on-location match.
Yeah.
And we do have another $5 super chat from DJW. And I guess this is a question for everybody. He says, does the loss to Cody earlier in the year affect Lance Archer's credibility as a challenger to Moxley?
I think I already said that, but okay.
I think maybe slightly, but I still think Archer is on the rebound. You don't think so, Big G, at all? You think he's good?
Yeah.
Well, here's my problem with that. Who did Brody Lee lose to? Moxley?
Yes.
Okay. Then Archer lost to Cody, but then just like that, all of a sudden Brody Lee squashed Cody. They finally got the picture to make the big guys look good at least once. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it can be corrected.
All right. I got nothing else to say about All Out. If you guys missed my recap, check it out. Before we move to the next topic, Psycho, or not Psycho, well, Virtue is a little bit of a psycho at times. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, thoughts on AOP's release from WWE Wasted Talent. As I said on my live stream, I'm not surprised because they were getting hurt a lot, and that affected WWE's ability to market them and push them. I'm disappointed that they didn't get a bigger run, but I think the beginning of the end was when they lost Paul Ellering, and then when they had the whole angle with Drake Maverick and the AOPP, that really hurt them. Anybody else have any additional thoughts?
I said what I had to say about AOP already.
All right,
they'll find work. There's plenty of places to work.
Hey, AEW can always use more tag teams, right?
There you go, bigger guys. Well, Aaron, we'll move on here, and we'll go over to NXT just for a brief bit. Finn Balor is the new NXT champion as he defeated Adam Cole, I believe. Now, he was the NXT champion in the past. He went to the main roster, was pushed heavily, right? The demon gimmick. He was the Universal Champion, got the unfortunate injury. To me, if he's back in NXT, it's been like a year. Now he's just finally the NXT champion. And I know they had the Adam Cole run. I feel like this was a long time coming. If somebody like Finn Balor goes back to the developmental brand, yes, I know it's trying to be pushed as its own third brand. It's about time for this. So good for Finn Balor. Good for NXT. They kind of need this because obviously with all the controversy around Velveteen Dream, not going to happen. And then we know Killer Cross got injured. So, Jeff Meacham, what do you think here with Finn?
I am overjoyed that Finn Balor is once again the NXT champion. And like you said, he got the unfortunate shaft of getting injured the night he won the Universal title because he was scheduled for a good run from what we've been led to believe in the last 4 years. So it's unfortunate that he got hurt. I do say I agree with you that if he's going to be put back in the, for lack of a better term, developmental territory, he needs to be the dominant force. Now, like you said, he had Adam Cole there. They didn't want to fix what wasn't broken. Adam Cole was not broken. People were loving Adam Cole as champion. And I feel that if Karrion Kross had not gotten hurt in the match with Keith Lee, that they still want to pull the trigger with Finn, which, as you mentioned, he's been there a year. He should have been champion already. It's kind of ridiculous. So I look forward to seeing Finn reign until Karrion Kross is ready to return.
Agreed. Big G, what do you think here?
I'm happy that he's champion again. I think his last reign was over 200 some days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Hey, if you're happy, can you smile? Let's see a big smile. There you go.
Yeah, I'm happy, y'all.
There you go. Because you're like, I'm happy that he won. But I like this.
Damn it, G, football's back. Buck up.
All right. So,
I'm starting to get that virtue energy back.
I think we had mentioned it a while back on NXT TakeOver 30. You know, if Finn was going to lose against Timothy Thatcher, he might as well go back to the main roster. Well, he won that match. He won the NXT title. I'm just trying to figure out, did he request to go back to NXT, or did they say, hey, you're going to go back to NXT? I have a good feeling that he asked to go back to NXT because he knew that he wasn't really getting anywhere on the main roster. Now, when Karrion Kross comes back, that's where I want to see the Demon come back as well, because that will be one hell of a match. You got Karrion Kross versus the Demon Prince, mind you, Finn Balor.
And they've held that back so long now. I mean, when was the last time we saw the Demon? How many years? 3?
At least 2.
So it will be something to the people that kind of like that, and change him, help a little bit, be some psychology. So I like that as I knock my earphones out. Aaron Rift, thoughts on Finn? I know you talked about this already, but he's the NXT champ.
I think it's the right move. Of the 4 people that were in the Iron Man match, I think he was the best choice. Like everybody said, he goes back to NXT. He should be in the main events. If he's going to be back in the developmental brand, he should be fighting for the championship at the very least, if not being the champion, which he is now. I don't think he would have gotten the title if Karrion Kross stayed healthy. I think Balor would have been a challenger for Kross, but not the champion. And as far as the Demon gimmick goes, he did do an interview, which is up on NoDQ.com, and I seem to get the impression that he doesn't really want to do the Demon character anymore. Maybe we'll see it at a special event if he ever does WrestleMania again. Maybe he'll bust it out. Maybe he'll bust it out against Kross. Never say never, but I feel like he's trying to not rely on that so much. Like, I think there was a point where he was doing it a couple of times a year at least, and I don't know if he'll ever do it again, but I want to see the Demon again at some point. Jeff?
I'd like to answer when you read the super chat.
Okay, all right.
Oh, by the way, regarding Finn saying that, red herring all the way. Of course, he's going to tell you I have no interest in doing it. In case they want to do it down the road, then it's like, oh my God, you did it.
Right.
Okay, back to you, Aaron.
All right, DJW with a $5 super chat. And I think Adam Cole's a heel. I don't know, and I'm starting to not really care at this point. DJW says, Big G will not be smiling when the Giants blow out the Steelers on Monday night. He might F around and miss Raw from being so pissed. Ha, 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 ha.
My response to that, Aaron, refund him the $5 to get him antidote for whatever drug he's on. Like, seriously. All right. There's no way the Giants are beating the Steelers Monday.
All right. You never know. I mean, Saquon Barkley. I mean, come on.
All right. I got a question for you guys. What are they doing with football as far as fans go at this point?
Nobody.
Some stadiums I heard can have 6,000 people depending on the states, and so imagine an 80,000 seat stadium. They're going to be spread out so much, and I don't even know if and when that. But I've heard that.
Yeah, well, I know Tampa Bay is going to do that. I think.
All I know is what's really shitty is the Cowboys' first game is here. They're playing the Rams on Sunday.
Oh, wow.
I can't watch my Cowboys. They're in Inglewood, and I can't go watch my Cowboys.
All right. I did miss a super chat from Shanti. How can I forget about Shanti?
Yes, you
Let me
did.
get this one out of there. He says, "I'm watching this video from the beginning, but when I get current to this, can I get a unison from all four saying Shanti for my birthday from the 8th?" All right. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Say it. So 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Shanti. We tried.
I don't understand the reference, but okay.
All right. We can move on now.
All right, so this topic, look, Retribution, like now all of a sudden, they had no interest in pay-per-views. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, they're delegated to Raw now, right? So is this so they don't attack Roman? Like, come on, WWE. Like, we know it's probably going to be the bunch of people we expect it to be from developmental. I just feel like it's an absolute joke. Now, they did the promo with the weird voiceovers and stuff. Like, to me, this is go big or go home. If it's all developmental people, and I like Dijak if he's one of these guys, Mia Yim, whoever these people might be, some of them, great for the spot, but like, I feel like this is going to blow and it's going to fizzle out quicker than Nexus. So Jeff Meacham, like, I think Retribution is a joke. And stop the shaky camera already, WWE. I hate you. I hate the shaky cam. Jeff?
Well, I think personally they should stop, doing shit like that.
Dizzy now.
It's been stupid from the freaking beginning. It's awful. It's dumb. I've never liked the gimmick. I didn't like it the first week. I don't like it now. I get that we live in the reality era. I get that we're not in the golden era where everybody's an occupation. We don't live in the attitude era where everybody's got their own attitude or whatever. I get that. That's fine. But this is so friggin' hokey. It makes my brain bleed. Like, it literally does. Like, I have more headaches from this than I have from my post-concussion syndrome for the last 6 months. I really do.
Jeff, what can they do to save this? Who could they put in there? They could have all these developmental people in there, but do we need like a Daniel Bryan? We need somebody in charge of this group that means something, or it's going to be crap.
I personally think that there's no real salvation at this point, and I hate to. Again, I try real hard to not criticize WWE because like everybody seems to want to do that. Everybody wants to seem to bitch about something. They can't just be happy with being wrestling fans. But this Retribution thing is really stupid. Like it's beyond stupid. And it was stupid. Thank you, Aaron. It was stupid from Jump Street. And you can tell there's no plan. There's no end game to this. They're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. And it's frustrating as a fan because it's like, okay, yeah, they can have Dijakovic, and that's great. Yeah, you can tell Mia Yim was one of them. Why does she have a bitch? Why does she have a problem with the WWE? Her husband was the NXT champion and has been the most over babyface on that brand for how long? And then he ended up being a main event player right away on Raw. So what?
But again, we got to see how it all plays out. Big G, what do you think?
I don't know what to say.
That's it? Moving on? That bad?
Yeah, it's just, the first week I was like, okay, this could lead to something great. Not awesome, but great.
And I thought that too. And
then from what I read, they're making these last minute decisions like on a week to week basis, changing character. They're changing up the people. They don't know who the final members are going to be. I'm like, how, if you're going to do something like that, you need to plan it out in advance and say, all right, we're going to have these people. We're going to have, you need, like you said, you need a main event star to be leading this group, a Daniel Bryan or I don't know who else there is, but at this point, I'm just like, I could give two craps about Retribution.
Yep.
I
mean, and that's the thing. Like, I always want to give them promise for stuff like this, but like the fact that they were destroying everything on any show, and now it's just relegated to Raw. It's like, wow, way to backtrack. I hate backtrack. I hate when they expose the storyline and then they pull it back. I don't know, the hacker. It's just poor
Yeah.
WWE like booking creative management, and it's frustrating. And look, I want to be positive, right? So if it gives these young people spots, great. There's my positivity for it. Aaron Rift, you want to add to this?
You know what this reminds me of? What kind of
What?
era this reminds me of? Take a
What's
guess.
Vince Russo era?
You got it. Feels like WCW 2000.
Ha!
That's your default.
Here, someone makes a very good point, and I actually didn't think about this, so I just saw Curtis Butler write it in here. What if Retribution is tied in directly to Underground? What if it's the same people?
Well, that's what
And
makes it
Shane,
weird. They're
and
doing
Shane is the
Underground-
leader.
They're doing Underground at the same time. It's like, what's going on with this? Like, two
Yeah.
weird concepts at once? Where are you going with these?
Well, maybe there's actually 600 members of Retribution, and they're just some of them are in the pit with Shane, some of them are in the hoods, attacking the arena.
Now, Aaron, maybe this is what they want. Maybe they want us bitching about this angle to get heat on this group. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, Eric Bischoff always said controversy creates cash, but look at the Raw ratings.
Nah.
They're already going down. So Raw Underground and Retribution, they ain't really doing much for the ratings, I'll tell you.
No.
Now, we do have a $5 super chat from Psycho Jet Black. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. He says, I hate to say it, but I think that Ricochet is more over than Retribution, and I really do not like Ricochet. You know it's bad when Psycho Jet Black is saying that Ricochet is more over than Retribution. That's how you know that this angle is not cutting it.
So it's
All
dead
right,
in the
I'm done.
water.
It's dead in the water.
Aaron, what did you think of the promo with the voice synthesizers?
Sucked.
I
That's
could
all
have
you
done a
need to
better
know,
job
NoDQ
of
Galaxy,
doing both. Too.
Like I said, the positivity of this angle is some people, developmental talents, are getting an opportunity on the main roster.
Now-
So
Kim Hall says my husband thought he spotted Jinder Mahal in Retribution this week. What do you think about Jinder?
now, if
being
he
the
was the leader of it, I'd be like, yeah. But
Praise me, Hall.
Just because the internet
Jinder-
would hate it, so naturally you would love it.
yeah. So, but yeah, probably not going to happen. But
Anyway.
anyway,
Somebody's back knee was showing on the guy's back when they showed him.
so we'll move on. So we saw this thing coming a mile away a year ago with Bayley and Sasha. They finally turned Bayley on Sasha. We knew they were going to do it with the injury angle to Sasha's knee. I mean, you have to get heat that way. So Bayley's going to be the heel. We know how this story is going to end. Sasha's probably going to take the title from Bayley at some point. I just felt that, I wrote an article and, a lot of people were, I didn't get as much attraction on it as I wanted to because I think people thought I was nuts when I said the WWE women's division has devolved since Ronda Rousey left. And I say that they still get TV time more than they ever have. They still have a lot of females hired, multiple title belts. So from that aspect, the women's evolution has worked. Right, guys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, you put them in the main event of WrestleMania, but it takes Rousey, Charlotte, and Becky to do that. Right now, all three of them are gone. Charlotte's coming back. She might be those promos with the legs. We don't know. But the fact is, they're not in the main event or anywhere close to it. And I just feel now this Bayley and Sasha angle is suffering for it. Not their fault. Just doesn't feel as important as it could be. Big G, do you want to elaborate on this?
It's about damn time.
Okay. It's true.
I remember a couple. Was it last year or a couple years ago when we did Virtue's Rages on
Fighting, arguing in front of the lockers. Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell, yeah. And now, we thought we were getting it back then when Bayley snapped on Sasha, and they had to go through the whole council thing with Dr. Shelby, and that was just crazy as what. Anyway, so we moved forward to last week Friday. Sasha has no belts. Bayley has the SmackDown Women's Championship. Something's going on. One of them is going to turn on somebody. Everybody thought it was going to be Sasha turning on Bayley, but again, it was Bayley turning on Sasha. I thought it was a good angle to write Sasha off up until maybe the Royal Rumble, and then have her win the Women's Royal Rumble and face Bayley at WrestleMania. Yeah, it's not going to be the main event spot, but at least we're finally getting what we wanted for the past couple years: Bayley versus Sasha. They had a tremendous match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn back in 2015. You can go on the network and watch WWE Untold. That was a very good 30-some minute documentary or whatever you want to call it. Other than that, I'm happy for it. I'm ready to see it, and I'm ready to see Sasha whoop that ass.
Look at you. Now, Jeff, Bayley and Sasha had the classic NXT feud.
Yes.
So why, just because we don't have Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda in the house, the WWE can't feature Sasha and Bayley as a main event type thing for a show like they did the women? And that's if they want to move in that direction and then they pull back because they don't have certain stars, to me, I'm calling them out on it. That's what I did in that article. I wasn't calling the females out.
No. I want so bad to give the benefit of the doubt to WWE and say that they wrote Sasha off here because of what Big G just said. Because Greg and I talked about this on Rewind this week. This match, this feud, this story that has been over 5 years in the making deserves WrestleMania. I dare say it deserves the main event of WrestleMania. And that's a pretty bold statement, but I believe it to be true. These two women, when Becky has been the dominant force, and now she's gone. When Charlotte has been shoved in our throats, and now she's gone. With Ronda souring on the business because my hometown crowd decided to be a bunch of assholes. Bayley and Sasha have been the two consistent keys to the women's division on any show. As a tag team, as individuals, they've been the anchor of the women's division in WWE. And I feel that Big G hit it right on the money. Keep Sasha off till WrestleMania, till Royal Rumble. Have her be the, oh my God, she's back moment. Win the damn thing and tell Bayley I'll see you at WrestleMania. And I pray to God that it's back inside with fans, because I would love to go down that 405 freeway and watch that match at Sophie Stadium.
And that is a great idea on paper. I just feel WWE will bring her back before that.
I don't think they will either. I can almost guarantee we're going to watch Smackdown tomorrow night, and she'll be back on the air to challenge Bayley for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and I just wanted to cover that in case it happened. And then we were like, all right, Aaron Rift, Bayley turns on Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I think what Jeff just said is exactly what's going to happen. I think Sasha will be back perhaps as soon as this week's SmackDown, and they'll do a match of Clash of Champions, and then they'll do a Hell in a Cell match. I think the ladies will get a Hell in a Cell match, and I think that's fine. I think ideally it would be best to hold off and wait till we actually have fans again. And I think that's one of the things that has hurt the feud, is the fact that we haven't had an audience. But other than that, I think they've made the best of the situation, and it's still been an entertaining feud. And Virtue, I do agree with you that the women's division, it doesn't feel as big of a deal as it did a year and a half ago when Becky was on top. And
yeah, I was at MetLife Stadium, and I was like, wow, I witnessed it live. And I was like, they're here, history. And then just where we are now.
Yeah, Bayley and Sasha are doing well. Charlotte, she got overexposed, and she really wasn't making a difference as far as NXT viewership went. So yeah, it's I think it's a safe thing to say that there's really no major female star right now. They had some potential with Rhea Ripley, but then she lost at WrestleMania and went back to NXT, and they're not doing much with her these days, although she was in the main event of NXT this week. Still not enough to beat AEW. NXT did like 828,000 viewers, and AEW broke 1 million. Adrian sent in a €10 super chat. Thank you, Adrian. He says, I'm looking forward to the Sasha and Bayley feud. Can't wait for it to culminate at WrestleMania, but knowing WWE, it will be an evening gown match on Taboo Tuesday. I don't think we're going to devolve that much. Maybe it's devolved a little bit, but I think that's highly unlikely that they'll do an evening gown match. Now, Mo Camera sent in a $4 Canadian super chat. He's upset about Roman Reigns. I'm not sure if Roman's one of our topics here, but he says, oh my God, Roman Reigns is such a draw, 13K new viewers. Virtue, you want to handle that one?
Well, first of all, I told you I'm going to and by the way, Mo, you're Tito, Mr. Tito. I know you are. and you're not from Canada. I don't know how you arranged that. But nonetheless, I said let's look at ratings after 4 weeks, and I'm going to break down the numbers with averages over the course of the month. So the bottom line is, where's Raw? 1.6, 1.7 million? Just wait until they start sending Reigns over there as well, because they need it. SmackDown, over 2 million. Watch. Just give it some time. And the fact is, right, you still need to have, like, Reigns should be on the beginning of the show, the middle, and the end, like they used to do with Austin and Cena and all of them. Not just show up, cut a promo, and leave. So WWE has a little bit of work to do. That's why I wanted to give it some time. We will bring this back up again. Trust me.
And honestly, I was going to mention this when I was talking earlier, and I forgot because I got distracted. We talked about crowds being necessary for, like, returns or big moments or whatever. The only moment since this quarantine really hit that I popped was Roman's return.
There you go.
Hey,
like, I was doing watch along. I was off camera, off mic, and I literally said, "What the?" Good thing I was off camera.
Yeah.
But I was legitimately surprised. I had no idea he was there. No clue. It was such a good moment.
I think that's how everybody reacted when he showed up. They were like, "Holy crap!" I mean, that was
Yeah.
probably the biggest moment of the pandemic era. And there was something I wanted to read off here, and now I think I
Well,
lost
Aaron,
it.
as you're finding it, as a small sample size, every time Aaron features Roman Reigns' name in the headline of a NoDQ review and a thumbnail, we get well over 2,000 views. When he doesn't, we can't even crack 2,000. It's much smaller scale, but there you go. Do the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I missed
And his YouTube videos, like 1 million views plus in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
I know it's not, TV ratings, but still.
Yep.
Aaron, did you find what you needed?
No, we can move on.
Well, moving on here, like, it's time for main discussion because we know how this will carry over with millions of super chats after the review. Rusev Day is no more, but it's the best man, Miro Day. Miro has debuted. Bringing the WWE guys in, right? I always encourage it. WCW did it back in the day. WWE brought WCW guys. It just happens, right? Because you're allowed to work. You're an independent contractor. When your time's up somewhere else, you can go work somewhere else. Here's the thing with Rusev. Why are you putting him with Kip Sabian? Is like, he better turn this into, like, you should be, like, coming out with full force, not being a little comedy thing right off the bat. That's my problem with this. Big G, Miro, I hope the M doesn't stand for mid-card. And I know you're supposed to build. You can't just have somebody come in and take spotlight. But, I mean, God, this is a guy Vince McMahon dropped the ball on twice with the Bulgarian sympathizer when they had Cena go over him. The year he came out, you were there, weren't you, Aaron? The Tank, WrestleMania 31. And then again with Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Come on, AEW. You should do better than this when you debut Rusev. That's my opinion. But it's good to see him. So,
Yeah.
Big G?
I'm glad he's there. It's kind of weird. He left WWE in a wedding angle, and now he's coming to AEW into a wedding angle.
That's
I thought it was kind of cheesy. I don't want to say, I don't know, cheesy is the right word, but he came out, he cut a decent promo, barging WWE, saying, he's been in the same house for 10 years, the glass ceiling, the brass ring, and they can all shout up their buttocks. We'll see how he does, Obviously, yeah, he's going to be in this with Kip Sabian. Maybe he'll turn on the Sabian. They'll have a one-off match, and then he can focus on the TNT title, have good matches with Brody Lee, ex-WWE guys, Brody Lee, Moxley, down the road. I'm glad, like I said, we figured he'd be there one of these days, but I didn't think he'd show up there yesterday.
F the TNT title. Send him straight for the AEW World Championship.
Okay.
See, I'm serious.
Okay. I could see that. I don't know. I could see that happening, but I know
There's
AEW.
plenty of room because Jericho's mixing it up in the tag division now.
Yeah,
plenty of room in the division.
True. I'm happy he's there. Hopefully AEW treats him better, and hopefully they pull the trigger on Miro Day and make so many shirts and people buy it, and they capitalize on it. That's what I want to say. They got this guy who has got a lot of passion, a lot of fire. They need to capitalize on it.
Yep. All right. Well said. Jeff Meacham. What do you think?
I'm happy Miro's there. You mentioned that it seemed like it was a silly thing to have him be Kip's best man and have him debut that way. I think it was brilliant. I did completely unexpected. You wouldn't expect somebody who, we as fans feel is a big name to jump to the other side to debut in such at the end of the day, a useless freaking segment, but it worked. The promo was good. I think Miro really, got his point across. I don't think he's gonna stick with Kip long term. I think they'll do this wedding thing whenever they do it, and then Miro will blow him off because, and I like Kip and Penelope, but whatever. Miro, he's gonna be up there in Moxley land, and with Brody and with everybody else, he'll be in the main event picture. And it'll be sooner rather than later. As far as what he said in the promo, he's absolutely right, and he's not saying anything that we all haven't thought or have that right said on any of our shows. The WWE, the whole thing with wrestling, and Good Mike Work mentioned this on Twitter, I think last night, talking about, AEW is, WWE rehashes, and it's like, you know what, so is WCW, and you know what, WWE was a bunch of rehashes of AEWA guys, and NWA guys, and, WCW guys that would have, that way, yeah. The wrestling world is a constant, okay, let's take the deck and go, okay, I want you, that's, wrestling's always been that way. Quit belly aching and just like the damn shows. If you don't like it, turn the son bitch off.
Whoa, when did Jeff Meacham become Eric Bischoff?
It's true though. It's ridiculous that people just can't be okay with liking something. They have to dislike something. Yeah. It's frustrating. To me as a fan, and to me as somebody that creates content for this stuff. Yeah. I think that Miro will do just fine, and I think that once he gets over the initial rub, if you want to call it that, from Kip Sabian, he'll be fine.
Big G.
Jeff, let me ask you this: do you think AEW will bring Aiden English back or into AEW?
I think that's almost like cliche. Like, I think that if we expect that, then what we expect won't be as good as what we get delivered, number one. Number two, I think if they do bring him in, they don't need to put him with Miro, because then it'll be like, okay, now they're really just rehashing WWE. That's stupid. Yeah. So you get majorly shit on for that if they do. Bring him in, great. But don't put him with Miro straight away.
Yeah, okay.
Good point. Now, Aaron Rift, AEW Dynamite drew over 1 million viewers the first show. Miro debuts. Interesting. Now, you said Miro shirts are going to sell like crazy. Aaron, let's temper our expectations. By today's standards, we're not going to see him sell like Hulkamania shirts, like Boston 316 shirts. But go ahead, take this topic over, man.
Okay. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, will Miro go back to wrestling barefoot again, LOL? Probably not.
I wouldn't.
No.
I think he's fine wrestling in the boots. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, Miro and Rift Shady are Eminem stans.
Okay.
Jeff, are you going to dye your hair blonde?
What hair?
Well, you could grow it out a little bit, right?
No, I don't want to.
What about you, Big G?
And plus,
I'd have to.
I'm the size of you and Eminem and Stan, so no.
I would have to run that by the lady.
Oh,
so that's a no.
So you got to get permission for everything in your life.
Well, he's gonna get married. Hello. His life's over.
All right, Power Packers 90.
Trouble with every wife in America. Anyway,
Miro, Aaron, it's your boy.
Rusev. He is my boy. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat says, AEW beat NXT like my Packers beat the Steelers in Super Bowl 45. Go Pack Go. Happy Miro Day. Are you guys impressed with me that I knew SB stood for Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Here's a toast to Aaron for knowing SB to see.
Okay, so hang on a second. Super Bowl 45. What are we on this year?
55.
Actually, I've done shit in 10 years. Got it. Okay, moving right along.
Moving right along. I agree with what Jeff said about Aiden English. I would love to see Aiden English in AEW, but I could see Aiden English and Rusev being reunited in AEW, just drawing criticism from people. But here's the thing. So TNA brought in a lot of WWE guys, right? And now we're seeing the same thing with AEW. With TNA, the problem is that they did not make those guys, for the most part, bigger stars than they were in WWE. They had guys like Christian Cage, but Christian never really got to the next level in TNA. See, when WWE brought in WCW guys like Steve Austin, Mick Foley, Triple H, they all became way bigger stars in WWE than WCW. If AEW can make these guys bigger stars than they were in WWE, then I have no problem with it. I think Moxley's doing pretty well so far. Brody Lee is questionable. He's not quite there as far as I'm concerned. The Cody win was a big step in the right direction, but there's still time on that. And if Miro can ultimately become a bigger star in AEW, then I think it's fine. I think it's the right thing to do. But if AEW ends up like TNA, where they just bring in these guys and then don't know what to do with them, and that's the same thing with WCW. They bring in Bret Hart, and Bret Hart kind of fizzled out. So we'll see. We'll see if AEW can not make the same mistakes that WCW and TNA did with bringing in guys from WWE and then not knowing what to do with them. The key is to utilize these guys and take them to the next level, somewhere bigger and better than they've been in the past. I like Miro, and I think he's got a lot of potential. Jeff?
Aaron, would you agree that the only guys that WCW really brought over from WWF and really took them to the next level would be Scott and Kevin?
I was just going to say probably the Outsiders.
Yeah. Because, like, everybody else that crossed over, Hogan was the biggest star of all time before he even signed with Ted Turner. No question about that. Same with Randy. Nate was WWF and kind of did what he did, but he went back to WCW. Nobody else really got more over than they were, except for Scott and Kevin, I feel.
And maybe Hogan, because of the heel turn and him reinventing himself.
Right, but I think, and he made a truckload of money, as he stated at the Hall of Fame induction. There's no question about that. But I to your point, people crossing over from one company to the other, they weren't made bigger stars than they were in the E, except for Scott and Kevin.
And
Miro has that chance. He really does.
Yeah, and it's basically looking at the mid-card guys that get picked up, not the top-tier stars. Miro was a mid-carder, and we'll see if he can become a bigger star now.
But like, to counterpoint, I don't think that Matt Cardona is going to be as big a star as Zack Ryder was. I don't think he will. Honestly.
I don't think so either, and I don't care because point. He's got me blocked. I don't care. I don't think Matt Cardona is going to be a big deal.
Yeah. You did this to us! Just
DJW sent in a $2 super chat, says they could have brought Wade Barrett back possibly. I'm not sure if he's referring to WWE or AEW.
But he is doing commentary for NXT. So.
Yeah, and never say never about him wrestling again. I mean, that's always a possibility.
Yep.
And Power Packers 90 sent in a $2 super chat, says Pack still 2 more rings than Dallas in 25 years, whatever that means.
Oh my God!
But not as many as the Steelers.
That's right. See, I can get with the Steelers because Greg and G are up there. Green Bay. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
All right, and the game is on 100 sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. He says, as long as former WWE people come over, AEW homegrown talent will never be over.
Yeah, dude, they're building Jungle Boy.
MJF.
Yes,
MJF.
One of the main talent, two of the main talents in AEW that are also EVPs made their huge name outside of AEW. Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes.
Correct. So, and Orange Cassidy. AEW is doing pretty well. I mean, I think they're already doing better than TNA was doing as far as making their own homegrown stars, but they still got a ways to go. There's no doubt. 1 million is great. Now they got to get to 1.1 million. Then they got to get to 1.2 million. They got to keep building the momentum, building storylines, building characters. They got a ways to go.
Which is what SmackDown's going to do with Reigns back. I'm using that same analogy, Mo Camera.
Right. It's not going to happen in 1 week. It's going to take weeks of good TV. And SmackDown's been pretty good for the most part. But it's going to take weeks of really compelling television with an intriguing character and major storyline to get the ball rolling and get it moving in the right direction.
Well, thank you. Great discussion. And I am ready now to go because we're under an hour, and I know it's going to get hung up at Aaron at the end again. But I'm ready to do our plugs so I can fulfill my destiny and try to get this review done in under an hour. So, Big G, take it home with your plugs first.
Yes, NoDQ.com/BigBallerG takes you to my Twitter page, NoDQ_BigBallerG1988 on Instagram, Jeff Heltz on Facebook. And if you want to check me out on TikTok, NoDQ_BigBallerG1988 on TikTok as well. That's it for me. Jeff, take it away.
YouTube.com/Jeff Meacham, Anchor.fm/Jeff Meacham Network. Straight and simple. You can catch, I'm trying to get all my shows on both now. You can also catch my simulcast of Talk Wrestling here on the NoDQ channel, as well as the Greg Cherry brand. You can also catch the Greg Cherry brand on his channel and the Greg Cherry show, on Greg's channel and on my channel on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So this Friday is Dads on Wrestling, Not Always on Wrestling. We're talking about the September 13th episode of Smackdown from 2001. Of course, that's the post 9/11 episode, and tomorrow is actually 9/11th anniversary, so it's a heavy one. So just get ready.
Well, thanks for being on, Jeff and Big G. Aaron Riff, now I pass it over to you.
All right, we do have a $2 super chat from Psycho Jet Black. He says, what are the top 3 Sean Waltman matches? Well, Jeff, I want to go first, if that's okay with you.
Okay. Okay.
So, of course, Bret Hart on Monday Night Raw from 94 has got to be up there. I really liked the X-Pac versus Shane McMahon match from WrestleMania 15. That one stands out to me. And then I believe he was in it, correct me if I'm wrong, but that 10-man tag team match on Raw in 2000 with DX and the Radicals, was he in that or no?
I think so. I think it was DX versus...
I got to look that up because I'm not sure if he was in that match or not.
I know it was Cactus and the Radicals against DX and somebody, so I'm pretty sure Sean was in that match.
All right, Jeff, go ahead.
Honorable mention is Joni versus Waltman behind closed doors on New Year's Eve. Anyway.
Whoa!
We were there. I'm allowed to say it. We were there.
That was nuts, Jeff. All right, so Jeff, what are your top 3?
It's got to be Brett and 1, 2, 3 Kid. That was Sean's greatest match he ever had. I'm gonna get yelled at for that for sure. It's okay. I liked his matches with Eddie Guerrero in WCW. The ladder match sold out was what it was, but I thought it was really good. And I also enjoyed his match with Shane at WrestleMania. So there you go.
Okay, and we do have a $20 Mexico super chat from Life of Beto. Says, great show.
Which is that?
Has always been great and an excellent panel. Viva NoDQ. Well, thank you very much for that.
All
we
right.
really do appreciate the comments there. I'm still trying to figure out who was in that 10-man tag team match. Somebody in the chat room help me because I'm having issues looking it up right now. DJW with a $5 super chat says, I agree with the split, but I disagree with who turned. Sasha should have turned on Bayley. Sasha saved Bayley from losing her title too many times. The thing is, Sasha was the one that went heel first, and then Bayley went heel, so I think it was better for Sasha to go face. And plus, I think the idea all along was for Sasha to go face and go into SummerSlam in Boston as the conquering babyface. I think that was the long-term plan, so they just stuck with that. Jeff?
It was Triple H, Shawn, and the Healthy Radicals, minus Eddie because Eddie broke his elbow or whatever, against Rock and Sock and Too Cool.
Okay, so Shawn was in that match.
Yes, he was.
All right. And TJS sent in a $2 super chat, says, Finn Balor is 39 and the champ of the developmental brand. Sad.
Why is it sad? Why is it sad?
Well, apparently they're not a developmental brand anymore. Apparently they're
not.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte was there as a champion. There you go. And now Finn.
And Adrian sent in a €2 super chat, says, what are Billy Gunn's top 3 matches? Oh, boy, that one might... Well, okay, I'll just go to that Radicals match again. Wait, he wasn't in that one, was he? Jeff walked
I don't know,
off.
but if this thing goes too much longer, I'm going to walk off.
Jeff is done. Jeff is walking off. He's had enough.
Yeah, that's it. I'm over it.
When you start asking about best Billy Gunn matches, we're having some issues.
Oh, do not mention the next super chat because I will go off on the subject.
Well, Adrian with a $2 super chat says, who was more over, Damian Demento or Skinner?
Steve Kern is a better everything than that piece of shit Damian Demento.
Whoa!
I agree with Jeff. He played a really, really good doink, too.
He really did. He was a great doink. He was funny as Skinner. His stuff with Stan Lane was good. And Damian Demento was a one-trick pony who was the freaking footnote in the history of WWE. And he only got over because he attacked me and Rob Van Dam on one of his stupid YouTube videos. And we put his ass over.
What
Well
is up?
said, Jeff.
What is up with Mo Camera? He just keeps talking about Roman the entire stream. He's
He
not.
wants to draw. I mean, it's funny he's trying to bash Roman, but yet he keeps talking about him. I rest my case. Checkmate.
All right. Anyways, guys, Virtue really wants to watch sports, so
I have Patrick Mahomes on one of my fantasy football teams. You better not get hurt.
if you guys keep,
I have a show to do at 5 o'clock, so come on.
if you guys keep us going,
Aaron, are you all set?
you guys could really troll Virtue by sending in more super chats. TJS sent in $2. He says, another Rock versus
I will
Austin
walk
match
off and
or
you'll
a
have to
Punk
finish the
return
shit without
match?
Yeah, I mean, I'll walk off in about 2 minutes if this keeps going on. I mean,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right.
Time to go.
All right. TJS says, another Rock versus Austin match or a CM Punk return match?
CM Punk.
I agree, CM Punk, because I think that would break the internet. Big
Austin
G?
can't wrestle. Come on, guys.
All right,
Big G?
Aaron, do we got any more?
Well, Big G, I've got to get his thoughts. Unique thoughts on
You want me
this
to walk off?
analysis
That's what you want
on
me
that
to do.
question.
I'm ready for football. I don't care about CM
I'm
Punk.
going to be the only person left on here if you guys send any more super chats. All right, I think we're done for the night. NoDQ.com.
NoDQ Galaxy.
Stay tuned for the latest wrestling news and rumors. I'll be back with Smackdown, and I think it's going to be a quiet weekend for once, which I'm looking forward to. Looking forward to taking a break from all the craziness. All right, I'm done. Virtue, you can go ahead and wrap it up.
NoDQ Galaxy, thanks for watching the review. Number 110. We appreciate it. For Big G, Big Baller G, for the West Coast Professor, Jeff Meacham, and for the boss man, Aaron Rift, I'm Virtue. We'll see you next time.